Okay, guys, we are on the second step of becoming whole, of full healing. This is no joke healing. This is not, any kind of bullshit healing, guru healing, healing modalities, all of that. That isn't about this. This is about the true change that it takes to become whole, to heal. We've already gone over the very first concept that needs to be understood and imbued into you is abuse, and how pervasive it is, how real it is, how it is obfuscated, and how it is pervasive throughout society, everything in society, religious institutions, governments, family structures, job structures, cultural structure, everything is abusive. The second video was on recognizing and accepting and how to get into that process and get your mind rolling on that. We brought it down to the bare fundamentals. This video is going to be on reclaiming your authority, okay? Reclaiming your authority. We have been slaves our whole life. We have not been in charge of ourselves. Like I said, they put us in this box at birth, and they have kept us in that, and everything that all of our experience in our lifetimes has been to reinforce this box that we're stuck in. They don't want us outside of this box. If you go outside of that box, there is anger, hatred, scorn, and everything else imaginable. People are going to laugh at you. Everything imaginable outside that box to keep you from going outside of it. And it's gotten so bad to the past, 50 years, they now are labeling anybody who tries to go outside that box having a mental disorder. Okay? So it's all structured to keep you as a slave. Before you can even reclaim your authority, you have to understand what authority means. The definition of authority, legal power, a right to command or act. The power derived from opinion, respect, or esteem. Influence of character. Okay. So you can look at that right there. Again, they get legal power is authority. They give you the illusion of having your own legal power by saying, well, you have a right to represent yourself in court. You have a right to a lawyer. You have a right to this. But they have already put you in a box where why do I need you to tell me that I have a right? Why do I need you to reinforce my rights? Why do I need a system in place that is going to charge me tons of money, put me through the ringer, and is completely corrupt to be able to be the law of the land and not allow me to be a free individual? Okay? So legal power, a right to command or act. Okay? Think about it like this. Your government tells you to pay your taxes. You have no choice. If you don't pay your taxes, they're going to put you in jail. They'll put your ass in jail. If you get a ticket and you don't pay your ticket, they're going to take your license from you. Because driving is a privilege, right? So all of these things that we just assume are rights because we keep on, we stay in the box and do everything we can to please our authority figures and the people in charge and the people in control, and we're good little boys and we follow the rules and we dot our I's and cross our T's and do everything right and make sure we're not stepping on anybody's toes, right? That does not mean that you have your right to command or act. Your command or act, again, they have given you a strict set of parameters to operate within. Your free will that you think you have, you are choosing in between those little parameters right there. Everything outside has been cut off from you. You don't even know 90%, 99% of the stuff outside of you don't even know exists because it's never been programmed into your box, in your mind. The power derived from opinion, respect, or esteem. So to give authority up, to give your authority up, means you're no longer deriving your power from your own opinions, the respect for yourself, or the esteem of yourself. You're not holding yourself in high regards. You have placed yourself lower than these other systems, which over here, I wrote out the hierarchies of power, okay? Here are the hierarchies of power. You got government. Okay, do we need to go any further into that? Government comes from the Latin gubermente. Guber, to control, mente, the mind. Period. It's a control system. Your parents, for 18 years, you had to fall under your parents' law, under their order, and listen to what they say and do what they say. Period. Before you might be like, well, yeah, when I was 14, my parents let me do whatever I want. What happened prior to that? What happened when you came out of your mom and the doctor injected you with highly toxic heavy metals and they named, number, and cataloged you into these slavery systems and stuck you with an assigned number and name that you could be tracked and verified and taxed for the rest of your life? What happened when they made sure you went to school? Okay, so your parents let you do whatever you want when you got to high school, 9th grade at 14 years old, right? What happened before then, between the ages of 5 and 13, from kindergarten to 8th grade? What'd your parents do? Made sure you complied, made sure you passed tests, made sure you went to school every day, made sure you didn't cause trouble in the classroom, made sure that if your teachers complained and they said, hey, he needs to be on pills, did they put you on pills? Okay, all of these things to think about. So you're right, as you had no authority as a child. You had no authority until you were 18. Once you got your authority at 18, you came out from under your parents' rule. Who did you fall straight under? You fell under your boss. You've been under authority your whole life. This is you at the bottom. This is where you've been on the hierarchy of authority your whole life. That's all you know, and that is the program that you're running off of, the mind slave. Down here. So everything you know is about compliance, listening, pleasing others, doing what you're told, obeying, not stirring up shit, not causing problems, not stepping out of line. That's all you know. Because in every area of your life, throughout all the stages of your life, you have been under the authority of another. You have voluntarily given up your authority to another after you got out of your parents. Under your parents' rule. So on the hierarchy of power, I also got teachers. Obviously, you're under while you're young, you're under the teachers and your parents' authority. The school systems, the indoctrination centers, they're completely in charge of you. The school boards, religious fucks, all the religious fucks out there that you've worshipped and fallen under, they all require your subservience and your obedience, and your compliance with their rhetoric and dogmas. Gurus, if you've gone out there and searched for answers on your own and broke free from established religions and forms of government, you fell under gurus, you fell under other leaders, teachers, and everything else, you name it. And then, of course, I didn't write up here, but there, you got money, you got your addictions. That's the hierarchy of power: money, addictions, habits. Anything you just blindly follow now that you don't even realize you fall under. So the power derived from opinion, respect, or esteem. So what you've had to do is give that power up that's derived from opinion, respect, or esteem that you should have for yourself. And you've been taught that you know nothing, that you're stupid, unless you have a certificate. Now you can climb out from under here and climb a little bit up here and become a boss. You can become a guru. You can become a teacher. You can become a parent. You can do all of these things. And then what do? You justify. You get to these positions. And then that's what I said again. That's why, a good example would be the indoctrination system, where they say, okay, well, you want to be in a higher position, you're going to have to go to 4 more years of indoctrination. You're going to have to take 6 more years of indoctrination. You're going to have to go to 8, 10 more years of indoctrination. We're going to put a bunch of 3 letters after your name, and we're going to give you a bunch of paper to hang on the wall that says you're qualified and indoctrinated enough to teach our bullshit. And and then you can climb up the hierarchy of power here. So that's your only option. Again, that option there is literally mind slave. They gave you parameters. They said, no, you're nothing. You haven't proven yourself yet. You have no paper hanging on the wall. You don't have any 3-letter initials after your name. You don't have any status. You don't have, none of that. You haven't earned anything. You haven't deserved anything. Yeah, you have to prove to us, the system, the authority system, that you are, indoctrinated enough to be able to propagate and perpetuate and climb up this. So what they do is they build that ego up. And that's why a lot of parents become parents, because they were so highly abused and were tired of being down here and wanted something to rule over, even though they say, oh, I love my kids. Teachers are the same way. A lot of teachers, all your police and politicians, complete sociopaths, psychopaths, just power hungry. They love fucking seeing others suffer and fucking getting their own way and pushing their will. It doesn't matter how bad it is. They just love being that authority figure. And most people who become these authority figures were people who, suffered abuse and trauma that really fucked with them as children. And that's where that whole thing starts. That's where that cycle goes, right? And so once you get here, you get that ego built up to where, if you do ever get cognitive dissonance because you know what you're doing is right or wrong, you choose to double down and justify what you're doing instead of using your reasoning and your empathy as a human and behaving accordingly. You choose to just double down and get back on the program and justify and excuse and forgive and forget, and completely refuse to accept what things are, and you jump right back into doubling down and pushing this system, all these systems of abuse. Influence of character. Okay, influence of character would be you give your authority up to gurus. Let's say, for example, if you give your authority up to gurus, they are going to influence how you act and who you become, because you're looking for the answers, right? You're looking for the truth. Right? The truth, it's got to be somewhere. I got to find it. And the only reason you think like that, again, is because of the mind slave box that convinced you that you're an idiot and don't know anything and aren't worthy, right? That's the only reason you go outside yourself. So influence of character would be, you are, instead of influence yourself and turning that attention and that trust inside, and knowing that and allowing yourself to settle down and listen to yourself, you have given yourself up over, again, voluntarily, to a guru, okay? To a teacher, some kind of teacher, to some kind of religious fuck who's going to, read out of a book that was divinely inspired and survived thousands of years and hand it to you on a silver platter for your way to salvation, right? And, so that's how that works, guys. And what this makes you, by bowing down to all this, it makes you a slave. By definition, it makes you a slave. And these things are this simple. Just like the definition of abuse, just like the definition of authority, you can clearly see, you can't even argue with that, with the definitions, that we are under fucking authority our whole lives. This next step in becoming whole is reclaiming our authority. Okay? A slave is one who has lost the power of resistance. Okay? You can't resist. They tell you to pay your fucking taxes, you're going to pay your goddamn taxes. They tell you to fucking put a license plate on your car, you're going to put a license plate on your car. They tell you to fucking, put your seatbelt on, you're going to put it on, or you're going to suffer consequences. They tell you, your parents say eat all your food, you're going to eat all your food, because if you don't, you're going to sit there all night long. And then you're going to have to eat the cold food in the morning. However your parents, disciplined you. I mean, my mom did all kinds of crazy shit. But, just however inhumanely and abusively your authority figures that you're falling under at that point in your life choose to discipline you. Your teacher says do your work, you're going to do your fucking work. Or you're going to fucking lose even more of the limited amount of freedoms that you have, that they tell you have. So a slave is one who has lost the power of resistance, one who surrenders to any power whatsoever. So as soon as you surrender your power over to a government, to your parents, to any leaders, to any teachers, scientists, gurus, your boss, religious fucks, money, Anything outside of you, as soon as you surrender that power up and you build that thing up, that it's more important than your own self, then you are a slave. A slave is one who surrenders to any power whatsoever. It's that simple. This is a very simple concept to understand. So let's go to authority. One more time. Authority is legal power. You have no legal power except for that limited amount of legal power that they give you. Very, very tiny amount. And if you happen to just forget to cross your I or dot your I or cross your T, you're fucked. You're fucked. It's all a game. It's all a rigged system. The whole system's rigged. It's all bullshit and it's all bad for you. A right to command or act. You have a right to command yourself to go watch a movie at the theater. You have a right to command yourself to change your job if you can even find another fucking job. You have a right to command yourself what kind of processed fake foods you're gonna make for fucking dinner tonight. You have a right to command yourself and act, in many different ways. But again, they're all within the parameters that have been set forth for you and within the constructs and the confines of what is happening here. You cannot choose to not pay your taxes. You cannot choose to have a vehicle and drive it around to get back and forth to place and put gas in it and maintain it and everything else without paying taxes on it every year, and without paying for your plates every year, and without paying for your registration every year, and without paying for your safety inspection every year. All of these things, guys. This is not freedom. You're not understanding. If you were, again, on the last video, we talked about justifying and excuses. If you are making justifications, well, Richard got to have a job. Well, Richard got to have a license plate. Well, Richard. And then you use these stupid justifications because you say, well, everybody just be driving all crazy if they didn't have a license. Everybody just be driving all crazy if they didn't have a fucking license plate. Everybody just be driving around without a seatbelt on if the law wasn't there. Do you understand how ridiculous, guys, you are? The reason you would even argue like these stupid ass arguments to justify, again, you're justifying because you have, this is causing cognitive dissonance within you, and you are justifying all of these different things. Well, Richard, I gotta work for money. Well, Richard, I gotta go to a grocery store. You are just fine. You have this. These are things we're going to be going through on the next video on detachment, and we'll go deeper into these things and get into your excuses and your reasonings for thinking that you need to keep yourself enslaved in such a manner. But the power derived from opinion, respect, or esteem. Again, if you are giving up another way to picture giving up your authority is if you are not relying on your own power that's derived from within of your own opinions, from critical thinking, guys, your own respect and esteem for yourself, holding yourself in high regard. If you are following any of this, playing and voting in elections, sucking your parents' dick and acting like they were the best parents in the world and they loved you so much and they gave you everything, worshiping your boss. Oh, he's such a great boss, when he's paying you piddles for what you do at work. He's paying you, as soon as you become no more productive for him, you're gone. Right? I mean, these are things to think about, and this is just the way it is. You can't justify yourself through these things. Influence of character, again, the way we all act. We all act and behave within this that we've been taught. We dare not go outside of it. We dare not think outside of ourselves. We dare not have these important conversations. I mean, I'm in contact constantly, guys, with family, or not with family, but with people who are just down and out and can't even have these true, honest, real conversations with their families. They can't even have these but yet they worship their families and say how wonderful they are and how great they are. All your family's doing is coping. That's all they're doing. They are bowing to the ass and kissing the ass of authority figures. And as long as you do that with them, then yeah, you're part of their group. But as soon as you break out and you become your authority and get rid of all this shit up here, and it's just you're the odd man out. you have a mental disorder. You're an outlaw, an outlier, a rebel. You're in the areas that are no access, not allowed, do not trespass. You are supposed to be contained within your programming of mind slave. And then again, guys, the definition of a slave, one who has lost the power of resistance. We have no resistance. You think you're voting, but you're voting in rigged elections. You think you're making a change by speaking out against police brutality. You ain't doing shit. Everything remains the same. It always has been, always will be. None of this shit's going to change. You aren't going to fix systems of hierarchies that are meant to be fucked up. These systems are meant to be confusing. They're meant to not make sense. They're meant totally for control. That's all these systems are about. So you are a slave as long as you continue to fucking operate underneath these things, including money, including the other things I mentioned. One who surrenders to any power whatsoever. You give your power up to anything whatsoever. If you are giving your power to anything whatsoever and you're not operating freely 100%, you are a slave. Period. That simple. And we'll keep it that simple. Yeah, questions, comments, leave them at the bottom. Again, this is only the second step to healing. So, you know, there's a lot to it, guys, but it's a mind game. This is all a mind game. It's getting rid of the old programs and habits and realizing things for what they are. It's coming to terms. Like the first step was recognizing and accepting things for what they are. You have to recognize and accept the exact definition of authority and the exact definition of slave, and see that these cocksuckers have been lying to you your whole life and tell you that the reason why they control you and rule over you is because you need help, you need safety. They're going to offer you safety and a safety blanket, and they're going to give you all these goodies, and you just need to fucking pay attention. You understand what I say? Pay attention. The only thing we have of value in this world is our attention, and they want it. Okay? Hope that helps y'all. And again, leave comments and everything else, and we'll get on to the next video.